Do your words build walls or bridges with your child? It's a question every parent should pause and reflect on. We all want the best for our children, pouring our love, energy, and hopes into their future. We strive to guide them, protect them, and help them grow into resilient, happy individuals. However, sometimes, even with the best intentions, the very words we choose can inadvertently create distance, plant seeds of self-doubt, or inflict emotional wounds that linger long after the conversation ends. Think about it, language is incredibly powerful. It shapes perceptions, influences self-esteem, and forms the bedrock of our relationships. In the delicate dynamic between a parent and child, words carry even more weight. Children look to their parents not just for physical needs, but for emotional validation, understanding, and a sense of security. What happens when the words they hear chip away at that foundation instead of strengthening it? This isn't about blaming parents or pointing fingers. Parenting is arguably one of the toughest jobs in the world, often done with little training and immense pressure. This is about awareness. It's about recognizing subtle patterns in our communication that might be causing unintended harm, patterns often learned from our own upbringing or adopted unconsciously under stress. In the next few minutes, we're going to delve into specific phrases, perhaps some you've heard, or maybe even some you've said, that psychological insights reveal can be surprisingly damaging. Stay with us as we uncover these hidden verbal pitfalls and explore healthier ways to connect. One of the most common yet subtly damaging phrases children hear is the dismissal of their feelings with statements like "you're overreacting," "stop being so sensitive," or "it's not that big of a deal." Imagine a child, upset because their favorite toy broke or a friend was unkind. To them, in that moment, their feelings are huge, overwhelming, and very real. When a parent dismisses these emotions, the message the child receives isn't one of comfort or perspective, it's a message that their feelings are wrong, invalid, or unimportant. This can be incredibly confusing and hurtful. Children are still learning to understand and navigate their complex inner worlds. They need their trusted adults to validate their experiences, even if the adult perspective differs. Consistently telling a child their reaction is disproportionate teaches them not to trust their own emotional compass. They might start suppressing their feelings, believing that showing sadness, anger, or fear is unacceptable or a sign of weakness. Over time, this can lead to difficulties in emotional regulation, an inability to express needs effectively, and a tendency to bottle things up, which can contribute to anxiety or depression later in life. Instead of dismissing, try validating. "I see you're really upset about your toy breaking. It's okay to feel sad," or "it sounds like what your friend said really hurt your feelings. Let's talk about it." This acknowledges their reality and opens the door for healthy emotional processing. It teaches them that their feelings matter, even if the situation seems small to an adult. "Look how well-behaved Sarah is. Your brother always finishes his homework on time. Why can't you?" Comparisons like these, often intended to motivate, usually have the opposite effect. Comparing a child unfavorably to a sibling, friend, or cousin is a deeply wounding practice. It sends a powerful message: you are not good enough as you are. Instead of inspiring a child to improve, it breeds resentment, jealousy, and feelings of inadequacy. Every child is unique, with their own strengths, weaknesses, talents, and pace of development. Constant comparisons ignore this individuality and place the child in a no-win situation. They may feel they can never measure up, leading to diminished self-esteem and a lack of motivation. Why try if you're always going to fall short in your parents' eyes? Furthermore, it can severely damage sibling relationships, fostering rivalry and bitterness instead of support and camaraderie. The child being praised might feel uncomfortable or pressured, while the child being compared feels hurt and potentially hostile towards the favored one. Parenting isn't about creating clones, it's about nurturing individuals. Focus on your child's personal progress and effort, not how they stack up against others. Celebrate their unique achievements, however small. Use encouragement specific to them. I noticed you really focused on your drawing today. The details are amazing, or you handled that disagreement with your friend really maturely. This fosters self-worth based on their own merits, not on outshining someone else. Threats of abandonment, whether serious or uttered in a moment of frustration, just keep crying and I'll leave you here, if you don't come now, I'm going without you, tap into a child's deepest fear. For a child, the parent represents safety, security, and survival. Even if said half-jokingly or as an empty threat, the suggestion that this fundamental bond could be broken is terrifying. It undermines the child's sense of security and attachment. They might learn to comply out of fear, but the underlying anxiety remains. This can manifest as clinginess, separation anxiety, or difficulty trusting others later. In life, the child learns that the parent's love and presence are conditional, dependent solely on their good behavior. This isn't a foundation for a healthy, trusting relationship. It teaches children that manipulation and fear are acceptable tools in relationships, rather than open communication and problem solving. Instead of resorting to threats, focus on clear boundaries and consequences related to the behavior itself. We need to leave the park now. You can choose to walk nicely with me, or I will need to carry you. Or, hitting is not okay. If you hit again, we will need to leave the playground. This addresses the behavior directly without attacking the child's fundamental need for security and connection with their caregiver. It reinforces that while the behavior needs to change, the parent's presence and love remain constant. Attaching negative labels to a child, "You're the lazy one, he's just shy, she's always so difficult," can become self-fulfilling prophecies. Children tend to internalize what their parents, the most significant figures in their lives, say about them. When they repeatedly hear they are lazy, they may start to believe it and act accordingly, losing motivation to try. If labeled shy, they might avoid social situations, reinforcing the label rather than developing social skills. Being called difficult can make a child feel inherently flawed and may lead them to act out more, fulfilling the expectation. These labels are limiting and reductionist. They define the child by a single trait, often observed during a specific phase or challenging situation, ignoring the complexity and potential of their whole personality. It puts the child in a box, making it harder for them to see themselves differently or to change their behavior. Instead of labeling the child, focus on the specific behavior you observe. Instead of "You're so lazy," try "I notice you haven't started your chores yet. What's getting in the way?" Instead of "Stop being so shy," try "It looks like meeting new people feels a bit tricky sometimes. Would you like me to stay close by?" This separates the child's identity from their actions, allowing room for growth and change. It addresses the behavior constructively without damaging their self-concept. Guilt can be a powerful manipulator, and phrases like "Don't you see how much I sacrifice for you?" or "Making me happy should be enough for you" weaponize it within the parent-child relationship. While parents do make sacrifices, using this to control a child's behavior or feelings creates a toxic dynamic based on obligation and emotional debt. It implies that the parent's love and care come with strings attached, and the child is perpetually indebted. This can make children feel overly responsible for their parents' happiness, a burden no child should carry. They might become chronic people pleasers, suppressing their own needs and desires to avoid causing disappointment or guilt. It teaches them that love is transactional and conditional. Healthy parenting involves providing love and support without expecting constant repayment or using sacrifices as leverage. Children should be motivated by internal values and understanding, not by guilt over what their parents have done for them. Instead of guilt-tripping, express your own feelings directly and set clear expectations. "I feel disappointed when you don't keep your promise because trust is important in our family," or "I need your help with tidying up because we all contribute to our home." This fosters responsibility and empathy without resorting to emotional manipulation, allowing the child to act out of understanding and respect, not guilt. Communication pitfalls aren't always overtly negative, sometimes they hide in praise or humor. Constantly showering a child with generic, empty praise like "good job," or "you're so smart," for every minor accomplishment can devalue genuine achievement and make praise meaningless. The child might become dependent on external validation for every little thing or learn to distrust praise, sensing its lack of sincerity. It doesn't help them understand what they did well or develop intrinsic motivation. On the other flip side, sarcasm, even if intended lightly, can be confusing and hurtful for children, especially younger ones, who struggle with abstract language. A sarcastic "yeah, right, you're a real genius" after a mistake doesn't sound funny to a child. It sounds like criticism wrapped in confusing language. It can make them feel mocked, belittled, and unsure of the parent's true meaning, eroding trust. Instead of empty praise, be specific and effort-focused. "You worked really hard on that puzzle. I saw how you kept trying different pieces." Instead of sarcasm, use clear, direct, and kind language, especially when addressing mistakes. "Oops, that wasn't the right way. Let's figure out how to fix it together." Genuine, specific feedback and clear, respectful communication build confidence and understanding far more effectively than hollow praise or biting sarcasm. Navigating the complex world of parenting means our words hold immense power, the power to build up or tear down, to connect or create distance. We've explored just 6 examples of common phrases that, despite perhaps harmless intentions, can secretly inflict emotional wounds and negatively shape a child's developing sense of self. Recognizing these patterns, the dismissals, the comparisons, the threats, the labels, the guilt trips, and even the misused praise or sarcasm is the crucial first step towards fostering healthier, more supportive communication within your family. Remember, this isn't about achieving perfection. Every parent makes mistakes. It's about striving for awareness, empathy, and conscious communication. It's about choosing words that validate feelings, acknowledge effort, respect individuality, build security, and offer genuine guidance. Replacing these damaging phrases with more constructive alternatives can profoundly impact your child's emotional well-being, self-esteem, and the overall strength of your relationship. What are your thoughts on this? Have you ever caught yourself using similar phrases, or perhaps heard them growing up? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. If you found this exploration helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more insights into psychology and human behavior, and share it with other parents who might benefit. Thank you for watching and for investing in more mindful communication.